Be sure to check out Pablo and Bo, but first, Caesars Sportsbook released odds for each NBA team to make the playoffs. The Bucks lead the pack at minus 5,000, followed by the 76ers. Both teams are virtual locks, so let's take a look at the rest of the East. Malika, we'll start with you. Which team in the East is most likely to underachieve?
Man, I had a tough time with this one, but out of that list, I'm going to go with the Heat. And they've had a lot of moves that they have made. They added Jimmy Butler, and I think that Jimmy and co know that he has to be successful, not only on the court, but in the locker room this season. He has kind of gone through so many different places and struggled to gel in some ways, and so he has to be a culture setter down there. I really like Eric Spoelstra. I have to represent for the University of Portland because there are so few of the UP alums in
Pilots,
the NBA. The Pilots,
yeah, okay.
but River Pilots, not Air Pilots.
I got it.
Very
okay.
specific. Anyway, and
Not Pilot Lights.
no, not Pilot Lights. And I'm going to have to say the Heat, just with all the turnovers, and they lost some key pieces. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do, especially because they narrowly missed last year, and that was with Dwayne Wade and with those key pieces. So.
All right, Ramona, who are you throwing some shade at?
It's not even shade. I kind of feel bad saying this because I had such a good time up in Toronto. But look, they lose Kawhi, and you have a team that I think can make the playoffs if they want to, right? That's a team that was really good without Kawhi.
Led by All-Star Pascal Siakam in your estimation.
But if you are a savvy roster construction specialist like Masai Ujiri is, you are looking 1, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. And Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, all those guys, Ibaka, they're in the last year of their deals. Like, if this team is just in the middle of the pack, if they're not right up at the top of the standings where it looks like they can still contend, I think you could see some of those guys move by the end of the year or by the trade deadline. And in that case, I don't know that they even.
I'm going to be such a gracious host and say that Karras and the Nets might have a little bit of an uphill climb. A little bit of an uphill climb. They have so many different pieces, and obviously they don't have Kevin Durant next year. And so I love what Kenny Atkinson's done there, and they still, as we went through that roster, they still have gritty guys there. So I don't think it will be an abomination of a season by any stretch of the imagination. I just think they'll just have some time to get to gel alongside Kyrie Irving.
There's some issues, right? Like Kyrie is replacing D'Angelo Russell, who was an All-Star.
Yes.
Right. Okay, and that team overachieved, which is usually a way that you get voted as a Coach of the Year candidate, but also the way that you underachieve the next year. Because there's a reason you overachieved.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move to the West. The Clippers have the strongest odds to make the playoffs at minus 2,500. And just a quick reminder, this isn't seeding, just like the best odds to make the postseason. So, Ramona, which team is the most likely to underachieve in the West?
Oh, gosh, that is really hard. Look at those teams. They're really good. Look, I'm just going to say the Clippers and the Jazz because they're right up at the top, and I don't think that they, even though you've earned it by your off season, like, let's see it on the court first. Last I checked, Denver and Golden State were the best 2 teams last year. So to drop them all the way down, like, I love the additions that they've made, but let's see how they gel on the court first, especially in the Western Conference where there's just incredible talent. So I'll go with the Clippers if we're right at the top. Yeah.
And Malika?
I'm sticking with the coaches I like and teams that need to work on it a little bit, and saying the Spurs. I think that they have a phenomenal coach, but they're still working to find their post-Big Three identity there. And they've been a consistent presence in the playoffs, but the West just got even more competitive, and they've sort of squeaked in the last couple of years and have been eliminated both times in the first round. So, I enjoy seeing Pop coach in the playoffs. I hope that happens. And that being said, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just sort of float away a little bit.
I go the total opposite way on the Spurs. Like,
really?
They get DeJounte Murray back.
Yes.
And I think they'll be a team that people do sleep on. Like, they're a team that we're not going to pick right there. I mean, I think you can make a case for, like, the Timberwolves to be right there, the Kings to climb up in the standings. So the Spurs are a team that I think actually overachieved. I actually thought they were a little high in those.
I mean, if they were to make the playoffs this year, they will set the record for most consecutive years any franchise has made the playoffs. And under Popovich, we'll see. My team, I'm going to go with, and it's kind of in the same vein, Ramona, you picking the Eastern Conference representative from last year's finals. I go with the Western Conference representative in the Golden State Warriors. And obviously, you lose Kevin Durant. Let that breathe for a little bit. You lose Kevin Durant. So that's a major
Dun, dun, dun.
adjustment for any franchise to go through. Klay Thompson will be out for most of the season with that ACL injury. They still got Steph Curry, who I imagine his numbers will go up. They got Draymond Green in a contract year, so a ton of motivation there.
Opening the new Chase Center.
Okay. the arena doesn't score points. And then add an all-star like D'Angelo Russell. I actually believe that there is pretty much a delineation after 8 teams in the West. I mean, the 9th team I would probably include is the Dallas Mavericks. So I think the Warriors will make it, but I think they could be very well on the cusp in that 8 to 10 range, and then Klay Thompson, if he comes back healthy, could be the thing
Like
that
this
pushes
is their
them over the top.
sabbatical year.
Yeah,
LeBron
sure.
took a sabbatical last year. The Warriors take a sabbatical this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I would say I would actually put the new arena potentially in the other column, the potential, and me being an Oakland native,
That's
but
right.
a potential drawback. I mean, the fans that have been there and made Oracle special for so many years have now effectively been priced out. I don't think that there's going to be that much overlap. And so will they, if they aren't as good as they have been in previous years, be able to keep that atmosphere that they've had? I'm not so sure
I love
about
Malika.
that.
She's so young, and she's up to the nostalgia play. She's with the
Nostalgia.
emotional play. No, it's the traffic, okay? A lot of the players live over in the East Bay, and one of the biggest things when you're around the Warriors and going to the Chase Center is sitting on the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
That is going to be a
Bridge
huge
is rough.
adjustment.
Take Bart.
Okay, Draymond
Take
Green
Bart.
on Bart.
Yeah,
All right.
Draymond on Bart.
One
No,
of the
there's
best-
literally been talk about getting a ferry that goes from Oakland
Yeah.
to the dock that's right in front of the new Chase Center.
Yeah.
One of the best takes ever, Brian Windhorst, our friend, said that Oracle Arena that was an assault on the senses. There was so much yellow there
awesome.
that opposing teams wouldn't be able to deal with it. So I don't know.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.